The oxen shed at a dead man lying in the road. As is well known in war times, salt became very scarce in many localities, especially in southern Missouri and northern Arkansas. It was so exceedingly scarce in some neighborhoods that it was a serious matter to procure any at all. A large number of people, especially women, were compelled to journey many miles from home to purchase a supply or enough to do them just for a few weeks or few months. Mr. Aaron Frederick tells of an incident relating to a trip from home on the hunt for a supply of salt which ought to be preserved in history. Mr. Frederick said that after the soldiers had destroyed our crop of corn in Douglas County, Missouri, we were forced to leave there and move to Howe County. At the time I speak of, the war was drawing to a close, but the killing of men and the destruction of property still went on. Thieves and murderers continued to overrun the country as before. This was done by the marauders and the irregulars of both sides. Now our family was without salt, and we were compelled to go hunt for some. There was none to be found in the neighborhood, and we had to go some distance before we could get in reach of any. I and my sister, Sally Frederick, we decided to hitch our oxen to the wagon and go off somewhere to make an effort to purchase some. The oxen we'd taken were our favorite cattle. We had brought them all the way from East Tennessee with us, and we had saved them from the bad hands during the war by keeping them in the woods. Their names were Jack and Ball, and we had worked them in the harnesses like horses all the way from Tennessee. Now, I was only a very small boy then, and we had to go a long distance before we found any salt for sale, and my sister, who was grown, bought as much as our means would permit, which was very limited. Now, we were gone from home several days, and I well recollect one evening after dark, while we were on our return back from home, the oxen suddenly shed at something lying in the road and came near running away. Now the night was too dark for I or my sister to make out what it was that scared the oxen. The cattle were gentle and docile, and we never knew them to act this way before. We supposed that they had scared at some wild beast, and that was too imprudent to give us the right-of-way of the road. After we had passed the object in the road 100 yards or more, we got the oxen quiet and resumed our journey without making an effort to investigate what the cattle were frightened at. When we went a quarter mile further, we come to a house and called to stay all night, and the woman told us to come on in. We had been there only a few minutes when the woman asked us if we had seen the dead man lying in the road. We told her no, but our oxen took fright at something and run along the road 100 yards before we could get them to stop. Now she informed us that it was a dead man, and that he had been killed that day, and the body was left lying in the road, and that no efforts had been made to bury him. Now the woman said that she was entirely without salt, that her and her little children were almost on starvation. Now she was very kind in allowing myself and sister to sleep in her house, and on the following morning my sister gave her a small quantity of our salt, and she nearly shed tears of joy at receiving it.